Hola chicos! Today we're talking about something that you've maybe seen before, which is the preterite of car, gar, sar verbs. And so those are verbs that end in car, gar, or sar, and they're going to have an irregular spelling change only in the yo form in the preterite. So filling in your guided notes for Unit 4, Lesson 2, make sure you write that the spelling change happens only in the yo form in the preterite. So let's look at some examples and see what I'm talking about. A car verb, for example, let's tocar, right? Tocar means to play, like tocar la guitarra. So the yo form is going to change from C to QU. You want to write down that spelling change in your notes. C to QU. And that happens because if I were to keep the original C in the yo form, then it would sound like to say, and that's a soft C sound, right? We want to maintain the original sound of our infinitive. Tokar, car, sounds like a K. That's a hard C sound. So we want the yo form to sound like to K, right? So that's why we change C to QU. Now, remember that it only happens in the yo form in the preterite, so the other forms are just going to keep the regular C as usual. So it's toqué, tocaste, tocó, tocamos. Of course, we've omitted the vosotros here, tocasteis, because you don't really need to know it. And then tocaron. All right, let's move to a gar verb. A common example is jugar. Jugar means to play, like jugar al fútbol. And what's going to happen with jugar is that the G is going to change to GU. So again, make a note of that spelling change in your notes. Remember, in the preterite, we are not stem changing jugar, so we're only going to see the spelling change here, again, in the yo form, jugué. And the thing is, in Spanish, if we don't put that U in there, GE would make a soft G sound like an H or a J, right? Like jugué. That's not what we want, right? We want to maintain the original sound of our infinitive. Jugar, g, right? Has a hard G sound. So we add that U in there, it becomes jugué. Not jugué, because that's not a sound that we use in Espanol, but jugué. The rest of the forms, of course, you just keep your regular G. Jugaste, jugó, jugamos, jugastes, and jugaron. So the spelling change again happening only in the yo form in the preterite. Let's move on and do sar verb. So a really common example, almorzar, to eat lunch. What's going to happen with almorzar is that the Z is going to change to C. So make a note of that spelling change in your guided notes. Yo almorcé. Right? Again, it only happens in the yo form in the preterite. And then the other forms are going to keep the Z. Almorcé, almorzaste, almorzó, almorzamos, almorzastes, and almorzaron. Muy bien. Move on and try the practice with the preterite of car, gar, sar verbs, and watch out for other car, gar, sar verbs that we didn't mention here.